Hey, did you hear the great news? Frankenstein Minute has been nominated for a Rondo Award for Best Podcast. Just send an email to taraco@aol.com with the subject line 2022 Rondo Awards, and in the body of the email, include your own name and your choice of Frankenstein Minute as the best podcast.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of the Son of Frankenstein.
This one is probably just as bad as his father. Good morning, son.
Well, hello.
My son, you have inherited the fortune of the Frankensteins. I trust you will not inherit their fate.
By heaven, I think you're a worse fiend than your father. What are you gonna do about it? There's a monster afoot and you know it.
Well, we've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Bill Evenson.
And I'm Tom Lang.
Yes! You too! Lang! That's right. I remember.
Knew that's what was coming.
Thank you for allowing that. Yeah, I've been working on this.
Yes, that was... I knew it was coming.
How often do I have that opportunity?
Well, right.
There are no Evensons in this series.
I just got to find Igor saying Tom, and we're all set.
There you go. Perfect.
Together. And I'm
Tom Lang.
I remember.
The Igor impressions are good enough. It really doesn't
guess,
matter.
really, yeah. Who would even know the difference?
People probably assume that was a clip, but that was me doing that.
That was actually Bill.
No,
it was electrifying.
It was electrifying in Belong Dead Studios. It might have stopped recording because it was so electrifying. It just shocked the computer.
It went into
big spike.
Went into the red zone.
Went into the red.
Those were good. You joined us for minute 43. I think.
I think
they said Universal's 1939 film Son of Frankenstein.
Frankenstein's son.
If you're
in the original German.
If you happen to be listening in Germany.
Yeah, yep.
And if you are, pick up this great Blu-ray
set. Yeah, we've probably talked about that a lot.
Put a picture of it on
for weeks. Okay, so
what are we talking about?
Here's my first note. It took 8 men before to say I was to be hanged. Do you have anything before that?
Well, yes, because he says he good man.
He good man.
Which he said at the end of the cut off is that he pay me money, and he pats his pocket. And I think that's the sole reason why Igor thinks Wolf is a good man, is because he pays him.
No, it's completely untrue.
Well, he's going to help his friend.
He's going to help his friend, and it's his sole reason that he wants them to think he likes him. It's very clever and cunning. I think that's the point. He probably doesn't even pay him money. He just lets him stay in that fucking shithole that he's been living in. Was he living in the castle before?
Well, he was in the front gate of the castle at the very beginning of the film.
Kind of had the run of the place.
I think he did.
Like Benson and...
We made jokes about that when they're moving in, that he took all the paintings off.
Took all the tapestries and
swords and guns and everything off the walls.
Right.
Igor's got his own little armory down in that hovel.
I think he sold it all to pay for horns. I don't know what does he collect?
Money for?
Food. Do you not have to eat once you're hanged?
The monster goes
and collects berries. Carrots. He likes carrots. Maybe he brings him carrots.
Yeah. Well, in the novel, he does say he's a vegetarian and doesn't need a lot to subsist on.
He says he's a vegetarian in the novel. Maybe I read the wrong version.
I think it's in both.
Probably is.
I think it is.
I probably just missed it.
Because he's like, unlike you, I don't need to eat the flesh of something else.
Well, I like that because obviously it's as a contrast to someone that would be so heartless as to create a monster in the or create a person in the first place without any reckoning on God, if you will, or even paying attention enough to notice if they were
at all.
The carelessness of being a meat eater. Yeah. You know, if you ever met these vegetarians that try and...
I'm starting to lean in that direction.
Is that true?
Yeah. Chris and I had lunch with Barsky.
Okay.
And had a carnitas burrito, and the carnitas was jackfruit. That had been seasoned, and it was delicious.
Okay.
The texture's a little different, obviously, than meat. So I've
never heard of jackfruit, but I assume it's on the slides in the previous minute. That's that's called jackfruit. Jackfruit. I've never heard of it.
I hadn't either, but
But you can eat it. My understanding is that you can eat it.
I've
No, I have nothing to say about that.
And I've since bought like some of these Impossible things.
Oh, we have Impossible burgers in the fridge right now.
Yeah,
We were going to have them for dinner last night, but we had something else. So maybe tomorrow night I will eat an Impossible burger. Yeah, they're good.
And I found some chicken patties, or
I like that kind of thing better. I don't like the fake meat. For some reason, it just, to me, it'll always just be not quite right. So I'd rather have a burger than have an Impossible burger, no matter what.
Okay.
That's just a personal preference.
Yeah, I'm just
They're fine. We'll eat them. Like I said, we'll eat them. I'd rather have a chicken burger.
Yeah, I'm just finding it a lot easier to transition than I thought I would.
But a chicken burger is still meat.
Still meat. Turkey
and so you're saying you're thinking, and turkey. Yeah. So here's what happened to me is we are eating a lot more chicken and turkey and a lot less beef and pork generally.
That's how
That's for health reasons.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm falling apart. We talked about the sounds our knees were making as we came down here.
Walking down to the studio.
You made a comment about your knees clicking, and I'm like, what makes you think I can hear your knees over my knees?
Exactly. You watch him, and if he starts to do anything like his father, and you don't tell us, I'll see that you hang again, says Lionel Belmore.
Yeah.
Lang.
Yeah, Lang is really forceful in this. Mm-hmm. He is not
he's not
fucking
as much
around.
of a buffoon as he was in Frankenstein.
At least not in this minute. I think I've already talked about his boobery. I mean,
this whole group is a
bunch of boobs, and what they're trying to accomplish. I think I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, but I guess I could talk about it now. But the whole general setup of the scene is one in which Belmore and everybody is well, even Atwill said it. That's why this scene we knew it was coming because Atwill agreed. Let's bring in. That's a great idea. Let's bring in Igor. And what we're going to see over this week and next week is they completely fail. So it's fine to say that at least in this minute, Belmore doesn't look like a doofus.
But I think
but he's still wrong and fails.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But overall, he's not as
pompous,
buffoonish as he was in Frankenstein.
Yeah, he was more of a buffoon. And I'll have more to say about that.
Well, he had more to do too.
In Frankenstein, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, it was a full on. Well, we talked about it, but even later when I think we're supposed to take him slightly more seriously. He's like, he's over here. Yeah, remember, he's the guy that's.
Hey, there he is.
Let's
get him.
There he is. Get him. Yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it is. Especially the leader of the community.
What do you work for the Minneapolis Police Department?
Thank you. Ooh.
That's it. That's all I got on that.
Silence.
That's all I got.
These
are our coworkers now.
Yeah, contractually bound not to say anything. Took 8 men to say Igor was to be hanged before.
So what year is this?
It's 2022. I'm not sure you're.
What year? Thank you. That's a good start. 39. What year is this scene meant to take place in? We think 39.
39 because there's the car. There's a lot of sort of a contemporary feel to it.
So that's what I think too, is that it's 1939. So I tried to find out. I tried to Google, and it can be a little difficult to figure out how to Google how many people are in a jury in Germany in 1939. But strangely enough,
that's a little.
Well, strangely enough, I actually know.
Okay.
And the answer is Germany eliminated trial by jury in 1924, and they don't have trial by jury to this very day.
Is that right?
Yeah. So the answer is none. There's no such thing.
This isn't technically a jury.
And that's the other answer. The actual answer is they replaced it with a system whereby you have professional judges. There's like 3 professional judges and 6 lay judges or something like that, which I assume to mean it's roughly the same as a jury. Of course, the other thing that was going on in 1939 in Germany is the whole system was probably pretty fucking corrupt. By that point, it had to be a fucking nightmare. The justice system in Germany must have been a complete.
I mean, I don't think you could even apply the word justice to it.
Yeah, it was all corruption. The only reason that it existed was to further very specific goals, and presumably also actual corruption with enriching the coffers of
absolutely
people. The bad guys were winning.
Guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we assume this took place in 1939, it's kind of weird how little we talk about this for as much as I think about this. That we're right in the middle of Nazi Germany through this whole movie.
I mean, you'll see it throughout this whole series. It sort of takes place in this kind of nebulous alternate universe.
Yeah. Igor's not a Nazi.
Thankfully so, because I think, we saw what happened with the Sherlock Holmes movies when they tried to do that. They're just a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Thank goodness they didn't and try to apply that here.
Because Krog, what would we think of Krog?
Krog would have been in Gestapo. For
Krog
sure.
is, I don't know about Gestapo.
Oh, look at him.
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean,
looks
maybe.
like, he looks like Major Hochstetter. How much more Gestapo do you need?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the very least aspires to be in this Gestapo.
Yeah, well, okay.
And probably in 39, you'd have to think. I think the lesson to be learned from what happened then is that people should have seen this coming, and I absolutely don't think we should, let people off the hook for that.
Yeah.
But if we were ever gonna, it would be around this time where it was like, yeah, I fucking love Germany, and I happen to also hate the Jews. That's where it kind of all falls apart.
Sort of. Yeah. Your level
the Jewish thing is really
level of forgiveness has to kind of
has to include, an understanding for hatred of Jews.
Yeah, the anti-Semitism.
The anti-Semitism, if you're so inclined. All right, I don't even know why we do this podcast, but it should probably. I will protest this podcast.
Yeah, we'll be canceled.
So then there's I just want to say another thing. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Because he says it took 8 men before to say I was to be hanged. I believe this is the first shot where we get a medium close-up on Igor, where you can really see the city crest behind him.
Yes.
So the city crest of Ingolstadt. No, I'm kidding. So you can clearly see the word. You can see FRAN, and then you can kind of make it out. Is on the lower left and in the upper right are horizontal stripes. So that's easy enough. Mm-hmm. In the lower right is I asked Jackie, what is this? Okay. And we decided it's a lion horse. I'm like, is that a lion or a horse? Yeah, it kind of looks like a lion with a horse's head. I don't know.
It's odd looking.
And then
even more odd looking in the upper left.
Well, in the upper left, to me, is an armored arm. Yeah. It's a guy in armor. Yeah. It's just his arm. It's holding in his hand a bolt of lightning. Yeah. That's kind of interesting that Frankenstein would adopt this as their city crest or village crest.
Their crest was the lightning.
The lightning.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was peculiar.
Yeah, that they're embracing lightning.
Like, yeah, we don't want anything to do with it.
Big part of what we do here. Maybe they just have a lot of lightning.
They're known for their lightning.
I mean, yeah.
When in Frankenstein.
They are. They are definitely known for their lightning.
See the lightning.
Yes, there you go. Well, the same 8 will find you guilty again. Mm-hmm. Weber's pretty cocky for somebody who wasn't part of the 8.
Wasn't part of the 8.
So he doesn't have to worry about Igor getting revenge on him, so fuck it.
Fuck yeah, we'll find you guilty. I don't care.
He doesn't say we, though. No. He says the same 8 will find you guilty again, you fucker. Yeah. And then he's just like perfectly happy to just sit there and let the other 8 get knocked off one by one. Yeah. That's the impression I get from Weber. He's one of those blowhards who's like, same 8 will find you guilty again. And Igor's like, who are you? Yeah.
Well, the same
you too.
The same
Weber.
8 aren't here, Weber.
I have one of your grills.
You made my shit list. Way to go, Weber.
Which one are you again? Never mind.
I'm Carlson, yeah.
Carlson.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, Carlson.
Does he?
This bit is going on way too long.
The chalk X by the Carlson. It doesn't matter. The same 8. The same 8 aren't here, Weber. I really, really like the way Belmore plays that. It's really cool. And having watched it, because of endlessly watching it for you, the listener.
Yes.
To putting the work in.
Willing to take that.
It really changes. There's a real change to me in the scene. The scene it's rapid fire. It's it keeps cutting and people talking, and then it sort of pauses on Lang's face for a second, like, hey, wait a minute.
The same age.
He's really. It has never occurred to him before. I don't think, or maybe it has.
I think it has. I think it's more just the unfortunateness of it.
I mean, the way he kind of looks around. I think he looks around a little bit. Like he seems a little serious, though. He's taking it seriously. Like
yeah, definitely.
Same 8 aren't here, Weber, and he might even be pointing it. I mean, he says Weber. He's pointing it at Weber, like, hey, fuck you, Weber. I'm one of those original 8.
Throw me under
and I'm probably going to die next week.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it can't quite be that, because that would kind of ruin the whole point of all of this. It can't quite be that. But he does take it seriously.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, but Michael Bark, boy, he's chomping at the bit to do it again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd hang you in a second, you fucker.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, gladly be one of the people to
one of the 8 again.
One of the 8. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll see how well that works out for him.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I think it'll end well for Neumüller.
I really like, and I think I alluded to this already, and if I'm repeating myself, then people will know that that's a thing I do. Because I listened to the episode 40, where we just keep repeating ourselves until we run out of time.
Yeah.
But I love the setup here. They've called in Igor in an attempt to intimidate him to their own ends.
Yeah.
Oh, you got more on this?
Not really.
What do you got? No, just say it.
Nope.
I want to hear it.
Neumüller and Lang were among the 8. The other 6 are dead, and Igor thinks that's absolutely hilarious.
They die. That's how it ends for us. They die. Everybody knows what he's going to say, but doesn't say it yet.
He thinks it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
And he should.
Yeah. And especially, well, this is the thing I was going to say about the setup is if you're going to write a scene where you're trying to establish something, we've both watched lots of bad movies. We've enjoyed watching bad movies.
Oh, yeah. I found the Pluto Mystery Science Theater 3000 channel.
Okay.
It's on 24/7, so I just had it on as wallpaper. It's really trippy because some of them I haven't seen since the early 90s.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, is this like intensely nostalgic?
It can be. I turned on one last week. I can't remember what it was now.
Some I hadn't seen since they were first aired.
Yeah. Was it a Joel one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, then they get into the mic and I'm a little less interested.
They made about the same amount.
Yeah.
So if your odds of hitting a Mike and a Joel are about the same.
50-50.
Did they make I think
they also show.
I used to know. I think they each made about 100, or did they make 100 total and they each made 50?
I don't remember. But then they also run Cinematic Titanic.
Yeah, that's like
to me is like the perfect storm of that group. I think they got the best cast.
That I agree. I like that cast.
And then they do the film crew, which are okay.
Yeah,
that's whatever.
Well, that's the same as riff tracks.
I'm not a big fan.
I'm not a big fan.
No.
Yeah, I wish riff tracks was better.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and then there's the new Mystery Science Theater, which is good.
Yeah, the
it's
Jonah.
Good. Yeah,
Jonah. Yeah, those are good. But my heart is with the Joel era.
If anybody wants to see me talk to Jonah, it happens on YouTube.
Was that right?
Do you know this?
No.
So our local Doctor Who convention, it's called Console Room. You attended it. We interviewed our friend of the show, Jeff Elston, and friend of the show, David Barsky, on a bonus episode. That convention went virtual last year, so 2020.
Okay.
And we had a Mystery Science Theater panel like we do every year. And one of the people on the panel is friends with Jonah, and he agreed to join our panel, and he hosts it.
Oh, okay.
And it's great because he's great.
Okay.
And so, if you want to watch that, it's out on YouTube. I don't know what you Google. Probably play Misty for me. Play MSTIE for me, and I'll probably find that panel. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways. But yeah, there's something about the timing and everything about the nature and the character of that show when Joel was on it that when you say nostalgic, it brings you back to that particular time. And I think they try to recapture that in the new series.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's successful.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to make sure I did say,
getting back to
the reason we went to the Mystery Science Theater was watching bad movies. Oftentimes, it seems as if you find yourself when you're making your movie, you're like, well, wait a minute, how do we get from this scene to this scene? We haven't explained why this person has to be over here.
Right.
Actually, the final version of Touch of Evil does this at one point. It's like this character's just explaining why this guy has to go over there. Because Wells kind of shot it.
The one based on Wells's memo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even that one still has a point where it's like we're still trying to figure out, well, how do I get this guy in the car? And that guy's got to be over here.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Bad movies, and that's not a bad movie.
No,
I mean,
not by any stretch.
I have one movie poster up in my office, and it's Touch of Evil.
Oh, do you?
Okay. I love that movie, but it's a thing.
See, it's my favorite Wells film. I think it's his best film.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I think too. Yeah, it's just after that we have to rank. Right? There's Touch of Evil, and then we rank them after that. But the thing is, in this scene, to bring it back to Son of Frankenstein.
Oh yeah.
What I love is a scene in which it's entertaining and you're still getting your point across. We've learned in this minute everything we need to know about what's going to set up going forward.
Sure.
Igor is trying to knock off all 8.
Yeah. No,
like we don't ever
don't ever say that explicitly.
We don't ever even have to say it explicitly, but we get it from this minute. And we get it from this minute that is set up in a completely different way. They've called in Igor to try and learn what's going on at Frankenstein over at Castle Frankenstein.
Frankenstein place, yeah.
In addition addition, they're trying to intimidate him. They're trying to berate him into saying, "You better do what we say, or we're going to hang you." There's all this stuff going on, and it does propel the plot, and it is interesting, and it is entertaining, and it's fucking great minute.
This is a great scene. Contrast this to.
Here we go.
Yep. The previous scene with these asshats, where it's basically like, hey, we should get Igor in here. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Useless.
Having that in the movie?
Yeah, useless scene. Because it would dissolve to this, and Igor's in there. I wouldn't think like, well, what's Igor doing there? How do they even...
So what are we at? Minute 43 now?
Smart enough film viewer that I did not need the scene earlier saying, we're going to go get Igor, and then 2 scenes later, there's Igor. I don't need that setup for this. It's pointless.
I get it. So listeners will have had 2 weeks off from Tom talking about how pointless scenes are in the film, to the point where now we've reached one that Tom admits is great.
Oh, this is a great scene.
And all it does is remind Tom of this previous scene that we didn't need.
That's not all it does.
I'm sorry, but I listened to minute 40, and I was like, man, we are really polar opposites on this film. And then here we are 3 weeks later, and I'd kind of forgotten that.
I don't think we are.
You're bringing it back?
I think what happens is you are so enamored of it.
I am.
To the point where I feel like I have to emphasize even more its flaws because you're not seeing them.
All right, I'll accept that. I do love this movie. And when we get to Ghost of Frankenstein...
You're kind of blind to some of its flaws.
That could be. And so I think I come off as disliking it more than I really do, just because I feel like I have to point that out. Can I just say, at time of recording, we just dropped episode 40 or whatever it's called. Minute 40, yesterday. And 2 days ago for Patreons. And so this is, I gotta say, the first time I've thought that Doc Ivan took a side on this. If you look at that artwork, there's no question Doc's on your side. So I get that it's polarizing.
Was it this week or last week, or was it Get Tom a Moviola?
That's, I think, was this week. Yeah. And so that's great, actually, because I've talked to Barsky about this film.
Yeah.
We don't feel that way. I've talked to Robert about this film. My friend Robert, you've met Robert. Yeah. And it's not a thing for us at all. It's amazing how I'm surprised to learn. That's one of the things I've learned in this process, is it is actually polarizing. It is very polarizing. You and Dino and Felicity and who?
Wallace.
Yeah, and Wallace, exactly, are absolutely on one side of this. Like,
my friend Chris.
Nobody hates this movie, but they're like,
there's a lot, kind of dumb. There's a lot to like about it.
Yeah.
But it's not without some flaws.
And me and a number of people are just on the other side. And you're right, and probably blind to some of its flaws. And that's, I think we can both acknowledge that's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
Like, you enjoy movies that are flawed.
Oh, sure. I mean, I'm sure I'm blind to some of Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein's flaws.
Well, that's probably true, too.
Although I was more than willing to point them out when we were discussing it.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot. We got to fill time.
Yeah.
Wallace still hasn't finished his workout.
No, we're barely at 28 minutes here. So.
I'm trying to think who else likes this movie. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't half and half.
Well, I've seen articles that one of them, it made me laugh because it talked about there's not a wasted second in it. Honey, sit down and let's talk. Bitch, please.
It's the is it the block and tackle on the thing?
There's plenty. There's some coming up pretty soon.
Oh no, really? All right. Well, there you go.
As we approach the
look forward to.
We're approaching the halfway mark, and there's some stuff coming up that.
When's the halfway mark? We have 100. Yeah, so minute 50. Because it's 99 and some change.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I see what you're saying.
All
right. If it's the one I'm thinking of, all right, I'll steel myself for your assault.
Yeah. I guess the gloves are off.
Gloves are off.
Donnie, I'm coming for you.
We got to get Donnie on.
Yeah, I think Frank Santropadre or Wallace Matthews, somebody said they could get him for us.
It was Frank.
Was it Frank?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we could probably do it.
I'm not adverse to it. Maybe for the 200th episode we could get him on because it's a Donnie heavy minute.
All right. Well, let's finish this and then let's talk about, because I think that's a great idea, and that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
I was thinking we could do a number of things.
All right.
Well, we could do whatever we want. We could try to do everything and then just see what happens.
See what see what works and what doesn't. Much like this episode.
Vote for us on the
just
Rondos. Was that over now, or is this the last week you can do that? Do you have any notes on that?
Last week.
Was it last week?
No, you got one more week.
Oh, great.
One more week to vote. Actually,
The procrastinators have
yep.
turn it off the podcast now. You got time.
Yeah, if you go to your email account and send an email to TARACO
What is
at
that?
AOL. Taraco?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, TARCAO at AOL.
No. You just said it wrong. It's TARACO.
That's right.
Yeah. Taraco.
Taraco at AOL.com with 2022 Rondo Awards as the subject.
And your name, in the body. They may even know what a body. They may even know what an email is. Can't you tweet your answer?
Yeah,
Can't you
right?
TikTok it?
Yeah, do a TikTok.
Go on TikTok and do a little dance.
Of your to vote for us for best podcast.
You'd think that TikTok would be the most efficient, especially given, like we said, that even our elections are being, stolen at this point.
Stolen by TikTok.
By TikTokers.
Yep.
Follow us on TikTok. We don't have a
We don't
TikTok.
have a TikTok. Oh my God! Now we got to set up that.
Don't follow us. Don't look for us on TikTok. Cut this part out.